Hi, everybody. Jonathan and Leonie joining you again today. Looking forward to the next wave spell, which starts on the 3rd of August. So let's see what wisdom lies there for us and how we can synchronize with and be aware of these energies. Every wave spell seems to be really significant and timeless. We can feel the energies across the globe. So looking forward to what we unpack today. Over to you, John.
Yes, thank you, Leonie. The fact is, humanity's under terrific, um, almost like tectonic conditions. Uh, we need to be on our mettle in these days of testing and of reality. Um, Gone are the days of being accustomed to the comfortable routine, even if that's a 9 to 5 or the frame of our day within the usual. There are no uncommon moments. It's an extraordinary choice point, and in the face of a conflicted world, we offer this wave spell, both from an astrological point of view and a cosmological point of view. So it is with this awareness that we really begin our journey. Now, in terms of the Mayan calendar, which shall I put that up on the screen, Leonie?
Yes, let's bring the wave spell up so that the folks can see that.
And I'm going to speak to the Western astrology too. The frame of it is, in fact, quite wonderful. It indicated by the totem powers, let's say, the energies of the days as the earth is in the diurnal in-breath and out-breath. Each day attracts and reflects a particular solar cosmic energy. Begins with magnetic hand, the hand of healing. And we can see that indicated down on the bottom right of the screen. Day of blue magnetic hand. It's the hand of healing. I unify in order to know, attracting healing. I seal the store of accomplishment with a magnetic tone of purpose. So as we recall, the first day sounds the tone of purpose, the purpose of wholeness, to be in the heart, essentially in the sign of Leo, which is the sign of the lion, to be heart-centered and to maintain that as the wave spell unfolds towards completion with blue cosmic storm. Now, if we hold those two energies as a sort of a counterpoint between beginning and end, we see that the blue cosmic storm embraces, the large scale field of life and affairs. And we can either be in the center, in the still center of the eye of the storm, in the eye and center of our heart, the heart's magnetic field, or we can be in the periphery, caught up in the toroidal field of dissonance, distraction, and confusion. And we are challenged in the coming days to walk this particular path. It has, as we can see, very colorful steps, in the yellow, the red, the white, and the blue. But essentially, the keynote here is to be in one's heart center and not in one's head so much, where there is, the tendency for comparison, analysis, and separation.
Yes, and this is very much a call to each individual to really be aware of that. I mean, Jonathan and I personally have been experiencing this already, which tends to happen when we wish to bring this information forward. We experience it on a personal level. So it's really important for us to remain in our own place of peace, which is in the heart, and to return to that as quickly as possible if you feel yourself being pushed off balance. And as always, this is what's so beautiful for me with the Mayan Tzolk'in and the wave spell is we are a microcosm of it, and it is a microcosm of the greater planetary, which is a microcosm of the galactic. So we see this unfolding for us in a beautiful way and giving us what we need and what we can appropriate in our day-to-day lives to be more consciously aware of the energies that we're dealing with. Thanks.
Beautifully expressed, Leonie. Let's look at the challenge because, okay, we've pointed towards the goal. And this is really, this is transpersonal. This is a transpersonal transmission from our intuition. As we walk the path, we can call it prophecy, if you will. It's really the gift of this calendar to be able to view the path from the end to the beginning, and therefore to prepare as we step forward in the days to come. So the purpose of the wholeness, the healing, is polarized and challenged on that day 2, the second day. That'll be the 4th, right? And that's the new moon. That's the new moon of the sun in Leo and the moon in Aquarius. There's a very interesting potential for synthesis. Leo, the individual sovereign self. Aquarius, the group, we the people, each one of us relating as and to the others of our family, our collective, personal and collective. So the challenge comes with, it's very beautiful. It's lunar star, guided by the power of universal fire. So if we can imagine that as wholeness, there we are, guided by our higher self, that solar angel, that star that we follow, right? Follow our star. And that star is itself guided by celestial fire. And that's the path of enlightenment and self-realization. It's speaking to the sovereignty of the soul. That is the essence of it, to be in one's soul sovereignty. But consider the starting point is simply where we are today, right? In this moment. And aspiring towards that sovereignty whilst stuff happens around us. Challenges are thrown up because of the nature of the blue storm. And so we can really say that our purpose in this coming 13-day period is to achieve a wholeness of the self through the self and collective generation, that creative potential within each of us, which is of the nature of the blue storm, as that blue storm is guided by the power of the life more abundant. That is the guide of the blue storm on that 13th day. It's guided by the power of abundance. So the blue storm is seeking to bring through that energy of the life more abundant. Think about that. It's magnificent. I am one with the Father, said he, and I am one with the Mother, the Divine Mother, nature. When we bring those two together, we're in the garden. We're in the Garden of Eden, in that wholeness and joy and beauty. That's a tall order, or perhaps it's the natural order of things. So the key is to be in our heart center.
I see I muted myself. That I was about to say that this is what we seek, even if subconsciously, if we may not be fully aware of it, but I believe this is what each person is seeking, to find that beautiful balance, to return to the garden, because that is where it is holy and sacred, and where there is peace and harmony and abundance for all life.
And the keynote of that second day, yellow lunar star, in the magnetic moon of purpose, that's a 28-day cycle. The keynote of this 28-day lunar month is all to do with purpose, soul purpose. And the keynote is I polarize in order to beautify, stabilizing art. I seal the store of elegance with the lunar tone of challenge, guided by the power of universal fire. Now, the third day is the day of activation. That's the 5th of August. And it's red electric moon. I activate in order to purify bonding flow. I seal the process of universal waters with the electric tone of service, guided by the power of space. This is speaking to the alchemical power and gift of transmutation. But how do we relate to that? Essentially, it speaks to the gift of the heart. You know, the heart is said to be the clearinghouse of the emotions, the emotional life. And in accepting the challenge to walk this path, we realize that it will entail that necessary self-purification of one's own emotional life. And how do we do that? How do we enter into the eye of the storm? So, if I may, I'll speak very briefly to the labor of Hercules. Now, every month, every sign is conditioned by the energy of a particular constellation. And in the Western civilization, the labors of Hercules are a gift of spiritual interpretation of that stellar energy. The classic labor of Leo, I think probably most of us are familiar with. It's taming the Nemean lion, taming the wild beast or the lower nature in essence. And Hercules is tasked to subdue this wild lion, which is terrifying the population and has people in fear behind locked doors. They daren't go out at night in case they encounter this wild lion. And so the country or the nation is in fear. Hercules spends many days tracking down this wild lion to finally he confronts the lion in a cave. But he recognizes the cave has two entrances. And one of them must be stopped up, because otherwise the lion would just simply pass him by and disappear again and escape. And so he stops up one of those holes, and he's able to confront the lion and subdue it with his own bare hands, unaided, alone, in the dark of the cave. And this is a confrontation with the lower forces of one's own persona.
And it's such a reflection of what we're experiencing right now
in the world.
Yes, because the fear across the globe it's palpable.
It's tangible, and it's time for us to look it in the eye and know what it is, even give it the name of what it is. because the only thing to be afraid of is fear itself. If you know that expression, it's essentially a choice between, will I succumb to this outer fear projected onto me or us, or will I submit and surrender into the heart and be in love, be in essence who I am, eternally who we are. And as Hercules was able to do that, the lion was subdued. And he then was able to actually not just succeed in protecting the people, but he then took on that animal power by wearing the lion's skin.
And
It
what I love,
becomes our...
John, you spoke about us coming back to the heart and to love. So the very next day in this wave spell is the day of the dog, which is all about love.
Yes, it's a beautiful, and look at that. I define in order to love, measuring loyalty. I seal the process of heart with the self-existing tone of form, guided by the power of death. So the lion is really a dog, apparently. And but I think that keys us into this month's opportunity to align with the dog star, Sirius.
Yes, another great and significant series of events which are actually happening in this time. We're going into the moon on the 4th of August, and then we have the 8/8 portal, what I refer to as the Lion's Gate. This year is even exponentially more important because it's in fact a 888 as opposed to the normal 8/8 gate. And
Yes.
then we have the wonderful Leo Sirius festival from the 17th of August through to the 21st. So there's a lot of great things that we can look forward to.
Now, the interesting thing on that fourth day of this 13-day wave spell is the guided by the power of death, of the world bridger. So in that, the labor of Leo, which is really a tremendous gift for anyone to look into that source of wisdom, because it's perennial, it's eternal, essentially, is to understand what Hercules, the hero, heroine, actually does there is say, no, I'm not going to give in to my emotions. I acknowledge them, but I am not my emotional experience.
Right.
I choose to focus my will and surrender to love and to let go, to let the ego die, so that I may discover and know my true self. And there is the reason why the day before was one of self-purification. We each of us do well to offer ourselves up in this period for forgiveness and for healing. Invite, welcome, and invoke healing for our families, our loved ones, our humanity. Because until we ask, we cannot receive. And until we ask, no power greater than our own can step in. You know, the angels are available, the gifts of the healing powers are available, but the ego must step aside and say, I can't do this by myself. I call upon the greater powers that be to support our journey. And we see that how this beautiful energy of love, cosmic, heart-centered love, is also the guide for that penultimate day of this wave spell, which is crystal mirror, dedicating to universal oneness, guided by the power of the heart. So the Leonine heart is very evident and very central to our story and our journey.
And requires courage, Jonathan. We were talking of that earlier, to go through this process of looking at the aspects of yourself which are requiring purification and transmutation. Not only does it require courage to do that, but it also requires the courage to walk through this time. And I've just noticed now, and I really love that the four energies that are connected in this wave spell, the mirror, reflection, dog, love, the world bridger, so very much about bringing us into that new garden that we so long for, and the magician, which is the Christ consciousness again. So I'm loving that.
Yes, it's profound. It's really beautiful. So this is the day of the blue overtone monkey. There's the challenge, actually, isn't it? Blue overtone monkey, because it's empowering and commanding. But what is empowering and commanding? It's saying, I empower in order to play. Okay. Commanding illusion.
Yeah.
So are we commanding illusion or reality? And again, you notice the guide is the storm, the power of self-generation. So be in the center, be in the heart, that planetary magnetic field of which every heart is in resonance with when we are heart-centered. And to realize that this 13-day period is really speaking to the sovereignty of consciousness itself within each one of us, holding to our true center to finally master the forces of the persona, the forces of our life and affairs, to establish the true inner divinity over the form and the appearance. And this is largely speaking, in the bigger picture as we journey throughout this year, is a preparation. This month of Leo is a preparation for the overcoming of world illusion in Scorpio.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the power of the monkey to play, commanding reality in order to finally overcome the forces perpetrated against truth and consciousness in this world, that must be or can be overcome in the sign of Scorpio in November. And we'll speak to that. It's the overcoming of the nine-headed Hydra. Again, it's a labor of Hercules. So that is something to understand. And of course, the astrology this month is very interesting too, because it's very similar. My understanding is that we have Mars in Gemini conjunct Jupiter, and that combination, Mars in Gemini, is, Gemini is very active in the mind, capable of making rapid connections and interpretations, but it can come to conclusions and assumptions which promote polarization and confrontation. So there's sort of a hint as to the periphery of the storm, that tendency to confront, to polarize, and to create conflict. We've got to stay in the heart center and be the observer, and to breathe back into love, into the heart, and say, aha, that's not real. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to be in the heart, and I'm going to come from that center.
Right. Not be caught in the tornado.
That's right. Okay, so that's a bit of a summary for this this period, Leonie. Is that?
Yes. Yeah, great. That's so the way I understand it, I just want to reiterate for those who are listening. Um, this is kind of like a forerunner to the big challenge, even more important for us to really pay attention to these energies as we move forward to November in Scorpio, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, interesting. And I think all of us would be looking at what's happening on the world stage, what's going down everywhere at this time of the year. And of course, there is a lot. So, really important for us to keep our focus.
Well, this year is, in essence, a year of planetary initiation.
Mm,
If we haven't already made the choice, make it now and decide to align one way or the other with truth, with the heart, and to the potential to recognize the divinity that life essentially is, that the outer form and external conditions is a distraction. It's an appearance,
yeah.
it's the form, but it's not the source of that form.
Mm,
And Leo offers this particular moment to go beyond the form and to re-identify in that heart center, the sign of Leo, if you will, brings that forward into the human experience. But we're really talking about the heart, the center of the heart, of which we are in which place we are all one, the heart of the sun, the heart of the Milky Way galaxy, Hunabku, and this potential for an alignment of heart centers to
mm,
restore the divine connection, which was lost in Atlantean times in the Great War of the Heavens, but is now being restored. This is why there is this planetary crisis and so much conflict and so much tension and so much promise and opportunity. And if we find ourselves in a difficult place, in a dark place, or in a rocky place, be still and take a deep breath and align upwards to divinity and call down spiritual power, spiritual love, and spiritual manifestation, and allow that to radiate on the out breath of the heart to and through all our relations. And this is how we will save the earth and our own humanity.
And this is, of course, available to everyone. It's not just for a selected few. We're all fully equipped to access that divine nature and call in that divine power and
Of the one life.
of the one life. Yes, absolutely. So wonderful. I'd just like to remind everybody that Jonathan and I have offered the first 3 wave spells of this Tolkien cycle as our gift to you. And we would really love to invite you to join with us. We do have profiles on Substack where we share this wisdom, and we would love for you to join us there and subscribe for future wave spells, loads of other things as well.
To hear from you, to share, if you will, something of your experience, and to offer some feedback to us so that we can respond and share this journey together. We're very grateful
Yes.
and encourage you to hold this as we walk this path together. Thank
And
you so
yes,
much.
our heart to walk it together. So Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Jonathan, for your wisdom today.
Thank you, Leonie.
All right. Lots of love, everybody.